Hello!
Hey!
Welcome back to another Halloween Horror Nights update video, guys.
Oh, yeah.
This one is HHN 23. What?
Evil
Has taken root. Yeah. So, I know everybody's been waiting for this video for a while. Luke is going to be actually now with me through the rest of the videos, and we will have also a special guest with us for 28. I'm not saying a thing yet.
Yep, not yet. We still got a while until we get up there.
When we get there, you'll know. So, I also want to apologize for the audios for the past videos as well. We've actually fixed that issue, so it'll sound a little better now. So
it'll sound a lot more clear.
Yeah. Alright, so Halloween Horror Nights 23, back in 2013, What Evil's Taken Root. Let's get on into it. This is the actual overview for the event. It says, "There's something in the woods, and it grows stronger every day. Descend into madness at the nation's premier Halloween event, Halloween Horror Nights 23. On select nights through November 2nd, the biggest names in horror transform Universal Studios Florida into the worst nightmares from AMC's The Walking Dead, aka my favorite show of all time, to Resident Evil, we'll get into that, Evil Dead, and more. There's nowhere to hide. Fight for your life through nightmarish haunted houses, outrageous live shows, and brand new The Walking Dead street experiences." This is the second year that they did street experiences. As you know, they did those last year as well for the 2012.
And I have more fun facts about this year, but we'll get to that after this.
Nightmare Haunted Houses, outrageous live shows, and brand new Walking Dead experiences only at Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights 23. Are you prepared to face the evil that has taken root?
No.
Exactly. There's no way to end your day at Universal Orlando than the winner amusement today's Best Halloween Event Golden Ticket Award, which has won multiple awards, by the way.
Yes.
Halloween Horror Nights Annual draws hundreds of thousands of horror fans from around the globe to this one-of-a-kind event. Tony Tapone, editor from Fangoria magazine, said after visiting the Scream parks across the U.S. for the last 20 years, "I can easily say that Universal's is the best in the business.
Oh yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights is the ultimate Halloween experience."
Yes, it is.
So that is the event overview. So I'll turn to Luke now. He's got information for you and pricing.
Much like a lot of the event, this was another milestone year because a lot has changed for this year. This recent year, one change was the change of theme. Now, the website originally showed and talked about a forest or woods that were supposedly haunted by some unknown evil. Well, everybody was hoping that this was going to be the theme around the park. Well, AMC came in when they signed for their second year as becoming a house for HHN. They decided, let's just do the entire park wide as Walking Dead, which was not the creative team's original idea because they originally had scare zones set for this area.
That is what we like to call marketing, people.
Like I said, Walking Dead takeover. Walking Dead took over most of the event, not just as a house. They had street experiences, which took place in the scare zone, so they're roaming walkers, but each street was set to look like an area of, like, Atlanta or the backwoods, which we'll get into later on. Also, this was the year that we saw the return of 12 o'clock nights. So the park would run from 6:30 to midnight, and then we have 6:30 to 1, and 6 o'clock till 2. So we went back to the original 3, I believe. Original icon. Okay. This one, we were supposed to have a icon for this one, as everybody remembers watching the videos on the website every week. This unknown person, his face was all blacked out, his voice was changed. He would talk about he was in the woods and found a random backpack. Inside the backpack, there were artifacts that would actually reminiscent to upcoming houses and stuff at the event. Well, I guess this feature was abandoned because everyone thought he was going to be at the event. No. Walking Dead ended up becoming the mascot, as you can see on the shirt. Walking Dead ended up taking over that as well.
Yep.
And the last change to this year is the change of different park maps. Like I said, the event had 3 different closings: 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. Each map was different to fortify, okay, 12 o'clock closing, say it was The Walking Dead. 1 o'clock closing, it was Resident Evil. And then the 2 o'clock nights was Cabin in the Woods or something else like that. No, actually, I'm sorry, it was Evil Dead. Evil Dead was on one of them. But yeah, that's a quick list of fun facts for this year, for that year of Halloween Horror Nights. And into the pricing information. The event opened up Friday, September 20th, and ran all the way to November 2nd. This was running at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can't even count. Let's just say it's a lot more nights than what it was before.
Yeah.
For a single night park admission, it was $91.99. So we are almost at the $100 mark, which you'll see this in upcoming years.
Cha-ching.
Also, Rush of Fear. This was a new thing. You got, well, not really new. I'm sorry. All nights for the first 3 weekends. $72.99 plus tax. This was something new that they didn't have the year before. They didn't have a Rush of Fear with Express. They only had Rush of Fear as just the ticket. This is another edition. With Express, all access was $184.99. Frequent Fear Pass jumped up to $83.99. With Plus, the regular Plus was $99.99. Frequent Fear regular pass with Express was $189.99. Frequent Fear Plus with Express was $249.99. And again, we didn't have any other passes until Years Up, where we added one more, but we'll talk about that when we get there. The Stay and Scream add-on editions, if you were looking to stay for Halloween Horror Nights and upgrade your ticket from a normal park-to-park ticket daytime, and you want to add Halloween Horror Nights, the prices were different throughout the night. So if you wanted to do Sunday through Thursday, the price to upgrade your ticket was $38.99 to add a Halloween Horror Nights in one night to your pass. For a Friday night, it was $53.99. Now we're going up. For the Saturday, which is the biggest one,
that's a biggie.
$69.99 rolled in. So
plus tax.
Plus tax. There's a lot. Like I said, I mean, they never had the Rush of Fear with Express. That was the new addition that they added to the Rush of Fear, because Rush of Fear only started previously in 2012, which it was a test to see, because people wanted to do something for the opening weekend, so they decided to come out with a pass. Mm-hmm. But that's it for pricing. Like I said, I mean, no real not many changes there.
But we will see changes going forward.
Yes, we will. Lots of changes.
You'll see that in the videos to come. But that's pricing. That's the event overview. Now let's go ahead and jump into your houses. Real quick though, before I do that, as you can see behind me, this is the actual shirt for 2013. The actual main shirt.
They never came out with a theme shirt for this year, and I noticed that because the shirt I'm wearing, as you can tell, is the Houses shirt, but I'm not going to really show the back, because the back is actually, I got this shirt. I have the Orlando version. I couldn't find it. It was in my closet somewhere. But the one I'm wearing is actually the one from Hollywood, because this was the first year I went to Universal in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. When I was visiting with a friend of mine when we went to Disneyland. I stayed with some of my friends in Hollywood, California, and we went to Universal Halloween Horror Nights, which was my first year going out there. Yeah. And it was actually the last year that we got to see the Bill and Ted show before they shut it down out in Hollywood. Yeah. So.
You're a traitor.
But,
all right. Sorry.
Some friends, huh?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm an Orlando fan. But I do want to go to Hollywood. Just let me point that out there. Eventually, I want to make it out to Hollywood, California, just to try it out, just to see Shut up. Just to see how it's gonna be. It would be so. But this is the actual shirt behind me for our event in 2013, 23, and the actual hat as well. For 23 as well. So hat, shirt, in a nutshell.
It's actually not really the event shirt. It's actually the house shirt for The Walking Dead. Actually, no, he's right. It is the theme shirt. One of them.
This guy.
Because it doesn't say on there the name of the house.
Yeah, I always get the actual event shirt every year. I never usually get the house shirt. My girlfriend usually buys
Okay, so I buy the event shirts. I go for the theme shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, depending on what houses I really like, I'll go out to the house shirt and...
Yeah.
And as of recently, they came out with a Scare Zone shirt, which happened recently last year. But we'll talk about that when we get down that road.
All right. So let's get now and jump into the houses. Okay. So we're gonna take turns introducing you guys to the houses. So the first house is gonna be Afterlife: Death's Vengeance, which was a original house. And here is the photo for that one, and then we'll explain the house. Alright, so there's the wallpaper for that house, Afterlife: Death's Vengeance. And the location of this house was in a sprung tent.
Yep. Sprung tent 2.
Yeah. And so the overview for this one is serial killer Bobby, the Blade, is about to meet Sparky. 2,000 volts are going to send him into horrific realm of pain. His victims have waited an eternity for vengeance. They're bound to turn Bobby's afterlife into an imaginable inferno torment. So, your thoughts on this house, sir?
I mean, out of all the 3D houses, this one, I mean, I didn't expect it to work with 3D. I mean, I felt like this house would have done a little better without 3D, but it was a good house, though. I like the music because it was all like Johnny Cash and all that stuff like that. So it was kind of like that 1930s era. Yep. When you walked through the prison, you heard kind of like big band style music. So it was real. I mean, it was really weird. And then
electricity.
You saw Bobby get zapped by the electric chair, and then as soon as you stepped through that curtain with your glasses on, it was just a neon nightmare, like literally, as it was said. Like it's pretty much his worst nightmares come true, because all the victims that he's killed are now going to haunt him in the afterlife. So it was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, all the 3D houses. I think this one could have done better without the 3D, but. Like I said, it's still a good house. I love the black light effect, but yeah, I like the outside looked pretty cool too. How it looked like an old rundown prison with an old 1930s. I forget what type of car it was. That black car, and there are newspapers all over the facade, pacing Bobby the Blade's end. The nightmare is over. It was talking about his death sentence, where they're going to fry him in the electric chair.
Yeah.
So very well set up.
Alright, so our next house, Luke.
Next house is my #1 favorite and the house of the year. An American Werewolf in London.
Nice.
And here is the photo for that one.
Okay. Alright, that is the wallpaper for that one.
It is absolutely one of my favorites for the year. And here is the biography for it. Based on the John Landis horror classic, you'll travel into the slaughtered lamb, experience the gruesome wolf attack on the moors, and live the chaos of Piccadilly Circus. Beware the moon, because tonight it brings only death. I remember this house very clearly. It was one of the most detailed of that year. And at first, I've never heard of the movie. Actually, a friend of mine let me borrow the DVD, and I was able to watch it, and I was like, wow, this is really old. Like, it's in the 1980s.
It's pretty good.
So, but definitely, if you haven't seen it, pick it up, check out the movie. It's now on Blu-ray and everything like that. But
if you guys ever get a chance also to make it over to what's the show we like to go to at Universal? The horror show.
Oh, horror makeup show.
Yeah.
Yes, they actually talk about it there. They actually have a huge
and we got
a small piece in.
We have a lot of friends that make up that show that we know. And
but overall, this was a big house. And by the way, this will not be the last time you see this house.
That's a curveball.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
Yep.
And I'm gonna hand it back over to Justin.
All right. So we're gonna go to our next house. It's gonna be Cabin in the Woods. If you guys are big fans of this movie, such as myself, you probably like this house. But here is the wallpaper first, and I will explain. Alright, so awesome wallpaper. The location for this house was in Soundstage 21A. So
we haven't seen them use 21 in a few years.
Yeah. What the heck? Alright, so the bio for this one is experience a live recreation of the film that ripped the horror genre inside out. Beneath the cabin's rustic experience lies a secret facility that unleashes terrifying beings that you thought only existed in nightmares.
This house, I remember doing research after watching the movie, and
it was a good movie.
I like how this movie and Evil Dead sort of follow the same mixture, because they both deal with demonic figures. Also, they both deal with being out in the woods in the middle of a cabin.
Yeah.
So when I heard Cabin in the Woods, I'm like, okay, what is this, like a sequel to Evil Dead?
Yeah.
No, the walkthrough was quite amazing. Like I said, started in the cabin, go down into the underground facility. I think the most intense part of this house was going into the bloody elevator sequence.
I like that.
With all the creatures jumping out. There's like 8
Yep.
panels of elevators, 4 on one side, 4 on the other, and
Yeah.
they would all, like, one by one, simultaneously, like, one side will jump here, one guy will jump here, one guy will jump here, one guy will jump, and you're just walking through going, okay, get me out of this room. But a little fun fact about this house, the room that had Hadley getting attacked by the merman,
Yeah.
if you looked at the blackboard on the back wall,
Yep.
it's an exact version of the one from the movie, because when they actually designed the prop, they actually took stills of the photo of the blackboard in the film, and they actually made it like put, okay, this was here in the movie, this was here in the movie. So if you go back and look for photos of the one in the house and one in the movie, put it side by side, they're simultaneously the same, accurate. The only thing that's different is the wording is a little different. Someone different did the writing on the blackboard, but that was something that's very cool, because the fun fact with that, and I think the first part of the run, I think it was like the first week or second week, we did not have the merman yet. The merman was still being worked on.
Yeah.
So Hadley's body was just laying on the ground with his head chewed off. Like there was nothing, there was no merman creature laying on top of him, and then they wired him in. So every time like you would walk through the merman, you would hear him crunch, and the blood, and you would get shot with warm water from his blowhole to make it simulate you got shot on with blood.
Also, I do remember from last year's event, which is back in 28. They had one of the guys from the creative team, I think, explained in their video saying that they remember an actual person going into this house, and this person got so scared, and she literally screamed, "What that?" And I think it was Mike Aiello from the creative team who remembers that distinctly, and she ran out of the house and didn't even know where she was. Like it was. It'll
do that to you.
It was.
I mean,
fun.
That's what I love about Halloween Horror Nights.
So I think I remember him explaining that that was one of the best memories he had of one of the scares.
And most of the music in the house was again from the score.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff they played outside was the various artists. And what was really cool is this house actually had a very unique cue video. The way they designed it, it's like it takes place I think a few weeks after the movie. So you're seeing the remnants of the people from the movie, but Now you're going into this experience. It's a week later. They've redone the cabin. So now it's like, okay, we have a brand new VR experience coming for you. Like, you guys are going to experience this. And it was really interesting, the queue setup. I'm not sure where they did it, but it was I mean, I love the queue videos that actually set you up into where you're going. It really sets the tone of the story, really.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, and also what's funny about this house, Cabin in the Woods was the runner-up right behind American Werewolf. They were neck and neck at the end of the event. Werewolf ended up taking the gold at the end as the number one house.
Not my favorite house this year, but when we get to it, I'll tell you which one was. All right, moving right along to the next house.
This one was a good one.
Do tell.
Evil Dead.
My favorite.
And here's the photo.
It's
a good one. I like this one.
Yeah. All right, so there's the wallpaper, and Luke, tell me, just by looking at that, would you go in that house?
I don't mind. I'm not afraid.
Would not go in that house. No.
It kind of has that Friday the 13th
No.
and / Cabin in the Woods, because, like I said, the two movies kind of coincide with cabins and being out in the middle of nowhere and not knowing what eerie things lie around you.
Yeah, but like I said, my favorite house was this house, Evil Dead. I absolutely loved this house. So first, I got a treat for you guys before we even read this bio. They actually also did a trailer for this house as well when they released it. There's only 3 trailers that they released for the houses, and this is one of them. So, here's the trailer for Evil Dead. Evil Dead.
Die tonight. We're gonna get you, not another peep. Time to go to sleep.
Alright, so we've given you a trailer, we've given you a pick.
Yep.
Now let's explain this house, which is aka my favorite. So,
location, Soundstage 24. This was also the first year 24 has only seen one house, but it was one of the biggest, largest houses.
It was amazing.
Relive the most terrifying film you will ever experience as gruesome deadites try to possess your soul. There is nowhere to hide as every creaking floorboard and tangled vine is just waiting to pull you down, making you one with the evil dead. This house was actually based off the new movie that recently came out the same year.
Yep.
There have been multiple Evil Deads in the past, mostly with Bruce Campbell as the leading role. However, he was not starred in this role, but he does make a cameo at the end of the film. If you stay through the end credits, you'll see him pop up, and he says, "Groovy." So they gave a little tribute to him. The house, I remember walking through, it was just nothing but blood red. You came in and it looked like a thunderstorm. You hear the audio clip of the original person saying they found the Book of the Dead. They state that he was with his wife in a cabin. They found this book. They read something, and of course, you know what happens after reading something. Something evil comes after you.
Don't read that book.
It had the classic scenes. It had the girl getting attacked by the vines. It had the vomiting sequence where she's throwing up just blood. The one sequence I remember was pretty scary was when the girl's cutting her arm off with the meat saw.
Yeah.
And they had the shower sequence. Girl's taking a hot shower and her skin starts bubbling and burning, and it was really very weird. And like the ending of the house has to be by far my favorite, where You went back out, you went back into the cabin, and it was blood rain coming down on top of you.
Yeah.
But
That was awesome.
a very good house. But yeah, it's based off of the remake movie that came out in 2013, not the original Evil Dead.
Yeah.
But it was still a pretty good house, and I'd never really watched Evil Dead until then. I mean, I remember going with 2 of my friends to see the movie, and they jumped. I'm sitting there in the chair like this, and they're just like grabbing onto me, knowing that something's gonna happen. So it was a cool house. I really enjoyed it. I really did.
They're coming to get you.
See, he's already possessed. He doesn't need to do it.
That's my favorite house. Every time I talk about it, I love it. It was my favorite. It didn't get awards, and it didn't win this and that.
It
But
didn't have it didn't have a Q video either.
no appreciation.
But it did have a Q audio track when you first walked in, because as soon as you came into the soundstage, nothing but a red wall coming around the corner, and then you go in and you see the book with open pages, and the guy talking about the book, and then you step into the next room, and then you saw the Evil Dead logo, and then you step into the cabin and start your journey.
It was
So,
sick.
And we will see this same effect again in next few years, which we will discuss then, and I will tell you exactly which one it was,
Yes.
because we know.
All right. So moving on, next house. It's an original house. It's gonna be Havoc Derailed. Here is the picture for this one. All right. So that is the wallpaper for Havoc Derailed. The location for this one was the Disaster Queue.
Don't worry, this wasn't the last year for this queue. We'll explain that one.
They
down
said
the line.
disaster. It's
Oh.
not there anymore.
It was a disaster.
Okay. Anyways, hang on tight aboard a militaristic train convoy that's secretly transporting the dogs of war. A genetically engineered super soldier outfit. These bloodthirsty maniacs are bent on mayhem and destruction, with their sights set on twisting the metal of a speed train. This is Havoc.
This was the second incarnation of this house. The original Havoc was based off a military base where they're experimenting with super soldier serum.
Yep.
And of course, super soldier serum, they couldn't kill them. So now, these military dogs of war are now, they fixed all the kinks, they figured out the situation. So now, they're shipping out these dogs of war to different military camps so they can help with the wars around the world. And, well, they sedate them before they put them on the train, but of course, you know what happens when a super soldier wakes up and decides, hey, I don't want to be here, I'm going to derail this train. The train itself was really cool, because like when you entered the facade, it looked like the front end of a military bullet train, and then you step into the cabins and go cabin by cabin by cabin by cabin before we finally get to the derailment. And this house was another one that had a cool cue video, which is still being used to this day. Little curveball there.
Nice.
Yeah, it talked about it was about a news the news crew was interviewing the Dogs of War lead in corporate office person, saying, oh, but you guys had mess ups in the past, what makes you think that this ain't gonna happen again? And the corporate guy made me reassurance, this will not happen this time. We are sedating them. There's enough sedation in them to put them to sleep until they get to their camps. But looks like it didn't make it, so.
That's what happens when you play with something you shouldn't.
Another unique thing about this house that I just remembered, everybody in this house had shaved heads. And they also had, if you've seen or played the game Hitman, how they have the barcodes on the back, everybody had that. It was a spray thing that they did.
So they kind of look like me.
Yeah. Bald-headed, emo-looking Mr. Clean.
Hey, that's a Bill and Ted reference.
No, it was a cool house. I really enjoyed it. It was in a location that was very tight, because it was used for Walking Dead the year before.
Mm-hmm.
But they made very good use of it. It was really cool how they did certain effects in this house. So yeah, it was good.
All right, moving on, and this house I'm excited about. La Llorona.
Urban Legends, La Llorona.
Yes.
And here is the picture for that one.
All right.
And that was La Llorona. The location was Sprung Tent 1.
Okay.
And here's the bio. She is known as the Weeping Woman. Her legend is one of all tragedy and of murder. She drowned her children in the cold, watery depths and now torments all who hear her with icy, mournful cries. Forced to walk the earth for eternity, she seeks others to share her pain, suffering, now and forever. This house had one of the most beautiful entrances I've ever seen.
Yep.
I mean, I don't remember the name of what they call them out in Mexico. It kind of looks like a church, but I don't remember. I just remember walking in, and the effects in this were actually quite interesting. I mean, between the underwater sequence, make you feel like you were drowning.
It's cool.
The segment of the children laying in the river like they're dead. It made you feel like you were walking outside of an old Mexican town where she is attacking people. I know this is a Mexican tale. It's an old folk legend. I don't know if it's true. I think it's based off a true story. But they label it as an urban legend.
Yeah.
And her name, La Llorona, weeping woman.
Yeah.
I remember also as you entered the house, you heard the tale of her, where when you hear a bell toll and the lightning strikes, you hear the thunder, as well as her scream. And but I do remember this house smelled like churros. Walking into the house.
I remember actually walking through this house, and there was a teenager that was right by us in line or whatever, and she's like, "Is that Bloody Mary?"
Wrong urban legend.
I'm just staring at her, I'm like, no. Wrong one. It almost looks like it a little bit, but no.
Overall, I enjoyed the house. I really liked it.
It was very nice. All right, moving on to the next house. It's Resident Evil Escape from Raccoon City. Here is the wallpaper. Alright, that's the wallpaper for Resident Evil Escape from Raccoon City, based on the game. This location for this house was in Soundstage 21B. And the bio for this is Raccoon City is overrun with Umbrella Corporation's most terrifying experiments, and the only option is complete destruction. You'll need to duck and dodge Lickers, Hunters, and Nemesis himself if you want any chance of escaping Capcom's video game terrors before missiles send everything back to hell. AKA, I love Nemesis. He's one of my favorites.
This house was based off of games Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, Nemesis. This is the second year we've done a video game house, and I was really excited when I heard Resident Evil because I played the game and I know how terrifying it is playing it at night. Just sitting in my bedroom, lights off, and all you hear is, oh, and you're like, okay, where the hell is this damn zombie at?
It's better with the lights off.
Breaking through the windows. Anyway, it was cool walking through the house because, like I said, it was scenes from 2 and 3. So you saw Leon on top of the cop car yelling for backup. You went into the cafe, which I don't remember being in part 2, but I mean, I haven't played it in so long. One of my best friends was in that room. She was the zombie in the freezer, which was, her makeup was cool.
Yeah.
And then you would slowly progress from the games 2 and 3. So, like, you would run in Nemesis. The Lickers were really cool. They were all animatronic. It was really, 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 really cool. A lot of fun facts for you. If you played the game, you know that there's certain objects you have to look for, like herbs, typewriter, and all that. They were in the house. They had spotlights on these objects that you were looking for, and that was kind of cool. The game pause sequence was kind of cool. How everything was just like frozen in time The other last thing that was really cool was as you walked into this house, every so often, every minute, when the loop of the audio track would recycle, you would hear the voice, Resident Evil, as you come through the house, which that was another cool thing that got me excited because I'm like, oh my god, they got the audio, they actually borrowed the sound effect from the movie. But a second year of doing Game House, I thought it was pretty interesting. Like, the walkthrough was interesting. It felt short, but I guess it depends really on how fast or slow you walk. The scares were right on. I had another friend in this house that would play the Nemesis. So I got a good scare coming out of that one.
I love Nemesis.
But no, I mean, it was really cool. But yeah, no, I mean, a very, very, very interesting house.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I love Resident Evil. I mean, I've seen the movies, I played the games. The only one I haven't tried was the remake of the new one.
I would love to see them do another Resident Evil house based on the movie.
That would be cool to do the movie version. Because I've also mentioned a video game house based on one of my favorites called The House of the Dead. Based on Sega, I think it was in the arcade.
Yeah.
Because where I used to work at my uncle's pier up in North, we had all 4 games in one arcade. House of the Dead 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I remember playing nonstop for free. I didn't really have to, because they could change the dial over so we don't. So if you hit start, you don't have to continue and put coins in. You could just hit start and keep going. So that was a lot of fun. And
with that in mind, we have a trailer for Resident Evil. They did release one for this house. So we're going to show you that, and then we'll move on to our last and final house, which completes 8 houses for this year. Here is the trailer for Resident Evil Raccoon City. So that was your trailer for Resident Evil Raccoon City.
Yep.
All right, and
we are now at the final house.
Yep.
The Walking Dead. No safe haven. Here's the photo.
Love it. All right.
And that was the poster. And I think Justin has something he needs to add to this for this house.
I do. Please refresh my memory. Oh, would you guys like a trailer for Walking Dead No Safe Haven? Yeah.
Hey there, it's Greg Nicotero. I'm here with Norman Reedus, Stephen Young. We have some really, really exciting news. Walking Dead is back at Halloween Horror Nights this year.
It's going to be at Universal Studios Hollywood
and Universal Orlando Resort with an all-new horrifying experience.
Ooh. So all that cool stuff, the prison, Woodbury, hordes of walkers, they're recreating that. Last year, remember, we went through. It was so amazing, so scary.
Yeah, it was awesome. My dad put my mom in the front as a shield. It was so scary. That was crazy. My mom is so brave.
And I threw Chandler to every zombie I saw.
And it worked, right?
That's right.
All right. Listen, you're going to get to relive all your favorite moments, and it's going to be great. Tune in to AMC. Walking Dead returns October 13th with these guys.
Season 4.
Woohoo!
hope you enjoyed that wonderful trailer.
And here we go with the bio.
Yeah.
The location of this house was Parade Building. Walk in the footsteps of the survivors as Season 3 of AMC's horror hit relentlessly attacks you from all sides. Stay alert. Walkers could trap you anywhere along your journey from the town of Woodbury to the claustrophobic confines of the derelict prison. This is the second incarnation of The Walking Dead.
Yep.
And this one was in a different location than the first one. They actually had a different location. The entrance looked like the battleground from the prison where the governor goes up against Merle.
Yep.
And Daryl has to fight his brother, and then the biters, as they call them, as the governor used to call them, he could call them the biters. They didn't have teeth, so they pulled the teeth out to make it as a funny little thing. I'm not sure. I didn't really get the reference on the thing. I guess they're not as dangerous without their teeth.
Yeah.
So, and then
Wrong.
this was also, the setup was right before Rick and them come in and take the prison and rescue Daryl as well as everybody else, and Merle finally joins up with the group of Rick and them.
Yep.
After all the stuff that happened in season 1.
Yep.
Well, walking through the house, it was really cool. They had the fish tank room with all the heads in the fish tank, which was a really cool scene. That was really neat.
I love
You
that.
got to see Penny with a bag on her head.
Yep.
This house also had an interesting area where you were in a chain link fence area, and you had to duck and crawl under as you went through that section of the maze.
I remember that.
And there were walkers around you trying to reach out and grab you.
That was interesting.
The governor, I believe the governor was in the house along with Merle.
Yeah, there
I
was.
did see Merle.
Yeah.
Yes, the governor, he was there because he was on top of that truck with that big machine gun yelling, "Everybody get out now." They're all over the place.
Yeah.
The ending of the house was walking out of the prison with the alarms going off.
And that was actually my favorite. I loved being in the prison. That was so cool.
Very well themed. Like I said, the second year of The Walking Dead, and this actually ties into the theme for this year.
Yeah.
For 2013, because I think I said in a previous video, this year, 2012 and 2014, which we'll explain next video, have a 3-year arc tie-in. But the 3-year arc relates to the name of the actual theme. Last year's event, 2012, was "Once you're inside, there's no way out." Dr. Jenner said that to Andrew Lincoln's character, Rick, saying, "Once you come into these doors inside the CDC, there is no way out. These doors lock from the inside."
Yep.
Now, for this exact year, what evil has taken root was something Rick said. Actually, it wasn't season 3, it was the end of season 2. After Herschel's barn burns down and they have no choice but to escape because the walker horde is so big, and they find out that they're all infected, and Rick's group sort of disbands each other.
Yep.
In a way, but then Rick makes a statement saying, "We have to stick together. We have no idea what evil has taken root ahead of us." And that's when the camera pans up and over the trees, and you see the prison in the background, and that ends season 2, the season 2 finale of The Walking Dead.
Yep.
And I will explain the third one in the next video.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool, like, because I remember we've done Walking Dead multiple times. Like I said, this is the second year, and you will see it again and
Yes.
again and again. But no, I mean, I was just getting into the show with this one because I've seen when I first went through Walking Dead in the first year, I just started watching it. So I just finished season 1, season 2 was just ended, and now I was waiting for season 3. Well, when this house came in, season 3 was nearly over. So I remember being at my friend Robin's house, and we all had a party.
Yeah.
A finale party, and we all watched the finale season of The Walking Dead, the finale episode.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, that was a shocking. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like the end of it, like when Rick and them attack the prison, and you think, oh god, Rick's got not Rick, Governor. When you think, oh, he's got the upper hand, he's gonna take Rick's group out. Rick's group shoved them out of the prison, and of course he was really pissed off about it.
Yep.
But you'll see later down the road, Governor is not finished with Rick. He has something else up his sleeve.
Spoiler
His
alert.
army may have died, but he'll come back stronger than ever. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, very
But
spoiler alert.
that brings us to the end of the houses, believe it or not.
Yep.
And now Justin will start us off with the street experience.
Yes, street experiences. All right, so that was 8 total houses we had for this year, and for the street experiences,
We have 5.
Yeah, 5. It's all basically based around AMC's The Walking Dead. Has overtaken the streets of Universal Studios from Atlanta to the forests into Woodbury. You will have to fight your way through some of the most iconic locations in the show if you want to survive the night.
And as I said in the beginning, this was not originally the plan that we originally had for this year. They did say that they had set scare zones, but due to the partnership with Walking Dead at the time, since it being so strong, they suggested a Walking Dead street experience, and I guess they took it and ran with it because the experiences last year did so well that the Beasts won, and they decided, let's try it again. Let's see what we can do with this.
Yep. So your first one is the Fall of Atlanta, and the location for that one was in New York, in the New York location. And it says, the smell of death is in the air as you make your way past an iconic tank, sandbag barriers, and decayed, rotten corpse on your journey through this demicated city. But be warned, the city's not empty. So there were walkers.
The unique area with this was there were segments where they had lighting to make it seem like a sniper was on the roof. So you would see flashes of light coming off the roof. They had a small show in this area where a survivor was attacked by a walker, and then the survivor ended up turning into a walker.
Nice.
Which was really, really, really cool.
I loved it.
And then the second experience,
Yep.
we are going to what they call the Woodlands. The location of this was in our Central Park area.
Yep.
Tread carefully through these woods, as you never know who you might encounter. Lurking deep in the hidden depths are unforgettable scenes and characters of seasons 1, 2, and 3. This area was very tight. There was a lot of trees and everything in the area.
Yep.
And you couldn't tell which walker was real and which one wasn't. The two iconic walkers that you saw were Michonne's pets. The 2 walkers with the jaws broken off.
Yep,
They were tied to a tree.
She used to hold them by, I think it was a leash or a chain.
It was a chain.
Yeah.
Double-ended chain.
And basically it'd be her pets, basically.
And then also season 1's deer zombie that ate the deer's head, which was actually the mascot of last year's theme when it was Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Which was kind of unique. So that was and also a little hidden thing. Not many people noticed it, but the true fans have. If you look hard enough in the trees, you will see Sophia's teddy bear hanging from its neck over one of the branches. So it's kind of like a taste of things to come, if you will. So now I'll pass it back to Justin.
All right, so moving on to the next street experience. It's going to be Survivor's Camp. Is what it's called. The location is in Kid Zone, in the Kid Zone area, and there's no one telling ghost stories at this direct campsite, but there is plenty of undead. Will you dare to go closer to the eerie abandoned RV? Keep your wits about you, and you might become a ghost story yourself.
This area had a few interesting things. They had a live actor on top of the RV yelling at people, get out of the area, it's not safe. But this was also an area that had a very unique effect. There were tents around a campfire.
Yeah.
And every so often, I believe it was one of the tents, had a projection that would turn on, and it looked like a walker was sneaking into a tent when a survivor is sleeping, and it would just rip the person's chest open and start pulling the intestines out while he's kicking and screaming. There's blood spraying on the tent to make it simulate like, okay, so, like someone's getting attacked.
What?
That was really cool. I really enjoyed the way they did that, and all the fog, like the fog coming from the campfire to make it look like it's still lit but it's smoldering.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, I'd have to say, out of all of the Walking Dead street experiences, this would be close as my second favorite, because I like the camp in the movie or in the show, and again, the camp is all season 1.
I like them all because it's my favorite show. Moving right along.
The next one, The Farm. Location, Mel's, it says drive-in, die-in.
Yes.
You like to go by that.
Yep.
Something's burning and it's not a Sunday roast. Gasoline fumes ignite your senses as you encounter the smoldering remains of a singed country farm. See and smell the putrid barn, the red tractor, and more as you learn what's causing that horrifying stench. This was heavily based off of season 2. Herschel's barn at the end of the season catches on fire, and they have no choice but to leave the farm. Also in this was the well zombie, which had a unique thing because as you walked out, it would spray water at you.
I remember that.
When you go into the barn, there's a few walkers that are all like burned and stuff like that. They're all like burned to a crisp, and you can smell burning flesh. Also, I believe, if my memory serves me right, there was a grill, a large barbecue set up. No, it was a pile of zombies because remember they were told to burn them.
Oh yeah.
They were told that. So after they killed them, they were told to burn them, use gasoline and a lighter, and just light them up. Very interesting area. But yeah, and then I'll give it to Justin for the last one.
We've reached the end, people. All right, this is the last scare zone, and it's called Clear. The location was in Hollywood. Turn around and live. Proceed and face your fate. Stick together as you head down this street because the spiked barriers are there for a reason. If you refuse to heed the spray-painted warnings, you're in for a terrifying walk that will feel like an eternity.
This area was themed to season 3. If you remember Morgan from the first season, he hasn't been seen in the second season at all, but he has finally been spotted again. Obviously, he doesn't remember Rick until Rick finally pounds some sense into him and makes him understand that it's him, he's alive, he survived.
Yep.
But this was the reintroduction of Morgan, because Morgan has set up traps for these walkers. They look like bamboo sticks, carved down to look like spikes.
Yep.
So the dead bodies were up against the pikes, or they walk into them. So therefore they can't move. There's triggers, so like if he has it rigged to bells, and there's chickens that make sounds that if a walker's coming, the chickens start clucking, or if they trip over the rope, it activates a bell to let Morgan know, okay, there's walkers in my area, I gotta go dispose of them. So it was really cool. And also what was neat was, I mean, I don't remember any special thing in the area. I just remember the lighting on the street and the walls saying clear, turn around and live, walk away or die, and like all over the streets, all over the buildings, like as you look on the buildings. And they also had some of the lights actually look like the crisscrossing of the sharp bamboo on the ground. So like you would see like a large silhouette of it, which was really, really, really cool. And of course they had walkers to make it look like they were actually up against the pike like this, but when you walked up, this right here was fake. So when they're walking up, they just and then come after you, and you're like, okay, all right.
That's great.
The Walking Dead experiences were really cool because a lot of them featured music from the specific area. So like Atlanta, like I said, is season 1, so they played mostly season 1 score. The Survivors Camp season 1. The Woodlands season 1 and 2. No, sorry. Yeah, it said 1, 2, and 3. And then The Farm was season 2. So it was really cool. The scores are still not findable. You can't find them. The only way to Bear McCreary, who did an amazing score for all the Walking Dead seasons, has not officially released the scores at that time, but I do believe he released a compilation album a few years later.
I think so.
That everybody enjoyed, and they said they want more. They want him to release more of the score, so he said somewhere down the line he was going to release a compilation of scores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to whatever we're up to. Or maybe that could be something we can hope for if The Walking Dead was to ever end, which we don't know when that will be, if it ever ends.
Don't say it.
So, but no, it was really cool. I kind of like the street experience because at the time when I first seen The Walking Dead, the first year that they did it in 2012, I had no idea what it was. A friend of mine who I work with at Space Mountain said, hey, you got to check out this show called The Walking Dead if you like zombies. So I sat down, watched season 1 and 2.
I could have told you that.
I fell in love with it, and then I started following every season. I don't watch it as much anymore because I don't really have the, I don't know. I just don't sit down that much anymore, and that was creepy. That was very creepy. That just went off right there.
It's because I have an idea.
I think it's because that sound effect also played in the zone.
No, it's because I have an idea. That's what it was. Let's move on to the shows.
Oh, jeez.
So we first have your first show. Here is the wallpaper for that. It says Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. So that's the wallpaper for Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure.
Oh, I'm doing it. I can't do it that way because I can't see it.
Alright, so this was in our beloved Fear Factor Live Theater. And it says, Party on, as those two most excellent dudes return with an all-new show to skewer the biggest stories of the past year with the biggest names in pop culture.
I remember the theme of the show now for this one. This was actually themed to the summer camp.
Yeah.
Because this was also the year that they remade Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Because the theme was Friday the 13th. They're
Yeah.
at a summer camp. Obviously, Ted obviously found a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he was dating Taylor Swift.
Ew.
She finds the Book of the Dead. There's your Evil Dead reference.
Oh, God.
So she reads in the Book of the Dead, and she herself becomes possessed into a crazy, psychotic person who tries to kill Bill and Ted.
Oh, God.
But the only way to stop this, she only goes after virgins.
Oh, God.
So the only way to stop this is Bill, or Ted, has to get laid 69 times.
Excellent!
In order to stop this curse and bring his dead girlfriend back to her normal self.
Wow.
So, very cool. Very funny show. Like all the Bill and Teds, they are just outrageous. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, it was a very good show. I really enjoyed the way they did it.
All right.
And here comes the next show, my favorite.
All right.
Well, my second favorite. My number one being Bill and Ted.
What is that show?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show, a tribute. And here is the logo.
Yeah.
Oh, Rocky. Excellent, baby. Okay, the location for this was at Beetlejuice Graveyard Stage. Let's do the time warp again. Rock out to clips from the classic cult film with your favorite transvestite, live tribute performers, and audience participation. This show has been used in Horror Nights past, but it took a hiatus for a while and came back this year as well as the next one. It's an abridged version of the film, so you're not watching the entire hour, 2 hour long, however long the movie was. It was actually cut down into a 25-minute experience. Brilliant actors. One of my best friends was in the show who played, he played Frankenfurter, So it was fun. The location, Beetlejuice stage, was really cool because it already looked like a castle. So
Yeah.
it kind of, all they did was redress it with some red curtains and throw the logo up there. But this was cool because this was the first show that was an audience participation. And as everybody know, audience participation, there's movie theater versions. They had perverted sexual callbacks that people would yell out on certain segments of the show, which made people like outright hysterical. I'm not sure. Did you see the tribute show at Universal or no, not at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. And this was actually the first year that I've seen Rocky Horror ever. Like I've heard of the movie, but I've never seen it. And of course, a friend of mine who lended me the American Horror Story also lended me Rocky Horror, but his warning, and I still remember it to this day, keep your mind open when you watch this film. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it can't be that bad. I put the DVD in and I'm watching it. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, but this movie has one hell of a cult following. Like everybody, like everyone I talked to, like, I was like, yeah, I've seen this movie called Rocky Horror. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's one of the craziest shows. I'm like, yeah, I can't quite grasp the concept of the movie. And they said that's the point. There is really no concept to the film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's about some aliens that do these sexual things, and it's like they're here on Earth. I don't know. Like the whole movie is, you got to sit down and watch it and just be like,
Yeah.
But the show was really cool. It had some of the pyro effects from Beetlejuice melded in because they used a lot of the same stuff that the Beetlejuice show did. But it was really cool, and I remember a shout out from a friend of mine at the end of the show, because I said I was going to be at the final show, one of the final shows that night, and I told him what I was wearing. So he called me out in the middle of the audience, because at the end of the show they make everybody get up and do the time warp, and he turns around and he goes, Luke, I know you know how to do this. Get your ass up and do it with us. So it was, and I thank my friend very much. I won't say his name, but thank you very much. That was an awesome shout out, and I have high hopes. Hopefully that maybe in the next few years we'll see this come back, but it's gonna be kind of tough because the Beetlejuice Graveyard show, the set, was actually a castle, so you can't really top that unless you're going to rebuild a new set from the ground up. Yeah. And of course that location is now Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. Which you'll know.
You'll know later down the road. Yeah. Oops, spoiler. But
all right,
we I think we're at the end of the shows. We're at the end of the main overview of the event.
Yes.
Like as far as houses, street experiences, and shows. We have a few multimedia pieces that I think we can tease our audience with.
Yes. First, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys the commercial, which very interesting.
Very. Very short.
My opinion on it, it's just.
I couldn't quite understand it.
Yeah.
So let's see if you guys have the same feelings as we do.
But here it is. Halloween Horror Nights 23, what is taking root? Commercial.
See if you can survive the biggest names in horror at the nation's premier Halloween event, Halloween Horror Nights.
So that was the commercial for Halloween Horror Nights 23, and like we said,
very interesting. Like, I mean, because I know, little spoiler ahead, I know this commercial was used again for Hollywood, because I think Hollywood, I believe it was recorded for both Orlando and Hollywood, because we both kind of had the same theme, because this was also the startup where Hollywood and Orlando would try to share the same theme with The Walking Dead, and because they both had Evil Dead, they both had The Walking Dead, and they both had Resident Evil.
There's a lot of dead going on.
So, yeah, I noticed that. Well, I
All
mean, there's a lot of evil going on.
But we hope you enjoyed the commercial. Now there is a contest that they had also going around for this year. And I'll throw that video in now.
I've never heard of it. I mean, this is the first time I've heard of it. When I
Yeah.
came across this video, I was like,
I guess they had a
I was
contest
like, I
this
don't
year.
remember this. I
Yeah.
seriously don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like you post something on Instagram. You'll see it in the video, but we're gonna explain it real fast. You post something on Instagram on why you think you're the #1 fan of Halloween Horror Nights, and what they would do is they would pick Instagram winners and
Yep.
say, "Oh, you've won something like a trip to HHN or some like a
Yeah.
trip through a house by yourself." I don't know. It was really, really, really weird.
But anyways, here is the video for that. Alright, so that was the contest video, as we said. And
It was like I said, I don't remember hearing about that at all.
I just want to see who basically the biggest fans were
Yeah,
of the event.
yeah.
So,
I'm trying to think. What else do we have set? Oh, here's something we can actually show you guys. This was the second year that the archway has also changed.
yep.
They decided to do somewhat the same theme with the rusted gates from last year and the walls, but this time they added roots spanning across the archway, and I think we have that photo. Can we go ahead and show that to them?
Yes.
We hope you guys enjoy this. It's pretty cool.
Here's the photo. Alright, so there is the arch picture.
As you can see, again, they chose the some of the original the IP stuff that they signed off to get use for. They mostly did that for most of the posters. I mean,
yeah.
I don't remember if last year did they do anything for originals as far as posters. I think it's mostly the IPs because they're the ones that are
Yeah.
the paid for houses that.
But this one was very rooty.
Ha! It was a bad root canal.
Yeah.
And before we leave you guys, we actually have one more cool thing for you. It's the guide map. It tells all the locations and everything like that, and I'm pretty sure that I hope you guys like this. So check out the map.
Here's the map for 23. Alright, so that was the event map that showed you basically all the houses and street experiences around and the shows and where smoking locations were and where they weren't. No, sorry.
Well, a lot of them have changed actually.
Yeah, I
now,
know.
but, we've reached near the end of the video.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. Again, another amazing Horror Nights event. This one was quite strange because, like I said, a lot of the changes and a lot of the things that have changed. But then again, every year coming up next, you'll see
Yeah.
it's bigger and bigger and bigger.
You'll see as
Spoiler.
we go through more of these videos to come, it gets better and better.
And we'll eventually get caught up.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We just have to start because we have 4 months. We're exactly 4 months away from Halloween Horror Nights 2019.
yeah.
And
So-
we're excited.
All right. So, stay tuned at the end of this video. We hope you guys enjoyed this one. For some pics of some of the merchandise that you could have bought that year. Some nice treats. Keep in mind also as the years go by as well, the merch gets more and more detailed.
There's
and
a lot more selection.
There's a lot more of a selection nowadays, but just to give you guys an overall view of how the event used to be, these are the types of merchandise that you guys could have bought. So stay tuned to the end of this video. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yep.
Halloween Horror Nights 23. Like, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it if you did. And
as he said earlier, as of now, I will be joining him more for the rest of them. And we have a few other surprises up our sleeves for the next few. So definitely subscribe.
Just in Time Horror, keep that in mind. It's Just in Time Horror. It used to be Just in Time Entertainment, but I did end up changing it up. I can't change the name on it just yet, so don't get confused. But when I can, I will. But it is now called Just in Time Horror if you guys are looking for it on YouTube.
Also, a fun little thing now YouTube has is if you want to know more of when he actually posts videos, click the little notification bell at the bottom. It'll actually send you a note saying Just in Time Horror has posted a new video.
Yeah.
Like, it's this new thing that YouTube's doing, and it's really awesome.
All right.
Like, it's really cool, but
yeah.
I look forward to joining you on the next journey.
So, I'm Justin, this is Luke, and we're signing off, guys. Peace.
Good luck.